Hey everybody, it's Thomas. Let's talk about Blood Bowl League of Blood Bowl. We're going to talk about what happened last week and what's going to happen next week, and then we're also going to go over the group stage as well, because that is starting this week as well. So, first things first, let's talk about my team and what happened here. Marsha got to level 3 thanks to MVP, I want to say. That sounds right. Either way, Marsha's level 3 now. Fantastic. I got Dauntless on Marsha because there's not tons of great skills when you don't roll doubles at level 3. By that I mean there's not tons of skills that are just universally great at all times. Most people say to get tackle or diving tackle at this point, which is pretty reasonable. Diving tackle is really good, but people aren't really dodging away from me, because why would they? I'm elves and everybody is pretty much bigger than me. There aren't a ton of 3 agility teams either. We're not playing against like Norse or Amazons here, so people aren't dodging away from me that much. Underworld, that sort of thing. People just aren't dodging away from me, they're just hitting me. So, thought about getting Fend, thought about getting Tackle as well. Fend would be good because it works so well with Sidestep. Tackle is good because I'm going to start running into more dodgy teams and more people with dodge. So, things to deal with dodge would be great, especially because I have block already. But the biggest things I'm having problems with are the higher strength teams that can just pummel me into the dirt, and 4 strength corners of cages make it really hard for me to get in there. So I want something to kill me with that. So Dauntless is sort of like a poor person's guard. It doesn't work on defense, and it requires a 2+ roll against 4 strength and a 3+ roll on 5 strength. But I need something to deal with those bigger teams, and I don't have access to a tree or some big guy, so Dauntless, I guess, is what we're getting. Beyond that, Liz is really close to level 3, and William got an SPP and is slowly but surely going to make his way to level 4, so hopefully I can get both of these guys, or guy and lady, up to where I need to be. And Bunny got KO'd and therefore would not get level 2, so I'm sad about that. Other level up is Wanda, who did the toss, and with MVP is enough for level 2. I got Fend, because Fend is a really good skill for elves. I thought about getting Wrestle because of so much block there is. Thought about getting Dodge because of how maneuverable 4 agility makes you already, and having the free reroll would be nice, but people are going to start getting Tackle a lot anyway, and beyond that, I want something that's useful all the time. My linemen tend to be on the line and get punched. The exception is Nan, who is a kick piece, but that's separate. Most of my linemen stand next to people and get punched, and so Fend helps me keep people where I want them to be. Also helps prevent things like Frenzy and piling on. Basically helps me keep people contained away from my backfield. And the more Fend I can get, the better. So as soon as I get these people up there, expect to see a whole lot of Fend on the line. Just because I think that's my path forward. Let's take a look at the game. It'll be up here to watch in case you haven't seen it already. I got 70k, which is really great. Not the best week in terms of how I did. We had a false start here, but it didn't happen, so ignore that. No casualties, only 3 passes, and 1 touchdown. I can't complain too much, though, because that's still 11 SPP. It's just not quite on the people I wanted it to. It works out. I got 2 level ups. I'm pretty happy still, but I would have liked more. Kept the Orc team down to only 7. Greyduck tried really hard to punch me, but just did not able to do it. I was able to crack some cages, get some balls out, and elf bullshit my way to success. I would have gotten 2 touchdowns / more SPP had William managed to do what +1 agility elves should do, which is pick up the ball and throw the ball on 2 pluses. And I rolled a lot of 1s with William, and I'm pretty salty about it. But hey, managed to win, managed to secure the number 1 seed. Hard to be too unhappy with the outcome of this game for me, especially when I roll 70k. What I'm going to do with that money is a whole lot of nothing. My team value is ridiculous. It's the highest in the league at this point at 1430, and I just can't afford to add on more players. I would love to have a 4th catcher, but it wouldn't really give me that much more. I've got 2 throwers, which I'm really happy about, and I've got 5 linemen, one of which is kick, one of which is Fend, more of which will be Fend in the near future. I want the bank to be able to help me replace the things that will inevitably get punched into the dirt. So, that's the plan. We're just going to kind of stick where we are with players, probably until the end of the season, and go from there. 7 fan factor. Woo! Let's take a look at Greyduck. The Orcs had some pretty good levels up this week. Prior to the start, no levels up from the game itself, mind you, but did get 2 doubles on the level ups from previously. This thrower got guard, which is great. It means that Blaster Brioso is probably going to be the primary ball carrier once it gets block, especially. It'll be great. Whereas Smash Forte will be part of the cage, basically helping make sure you can secure the ball. Guard in general on this team is always going to be good. More guard, more guard, more guard, especially because it sounds like at this point she's not going to buy the troll whatsoever. So more guard is what this team definitely needs. What was the other level up here? This Blitzer here got doubles as well and got jump up, which she's a big fan of. I don't know. I think dodge would have been a better choice if you were going to get something here, but people are, like I said, for me, people are going to get tackle. And jump up helps extend this team's overall movement range, which is very, very low. So it's not the end of the world. Getting hit to the ground and then being able to block from the dirt is pretty good as well. And with how close some of these players are to level 3 down here, mostly Bulldozer Bolero, and how close Excavator Esprilio is, I think it's okay to skip getting their hitting skill. Mighty Blow would have been what I would have done on a normal roll, but I don't know. I can't fault jump up. It's a fun skill, and who knows? It didn't really help against me that much, but maybe it'll help against other people. That said, elves are not a good team to compare how good your hitting skills are, to say the least. But yeah, money from this week, 20k. Doesn't really matter too much, honestly, because she's not buying the trolls, so this is just banked to pick up more players. Might be worthwhile to consider picking up a 3rd lineman just to help extend the bench a little bit, but considering how much 9 there is in this armor value category, might not be worth it, just because this team is pretty resilient overall. So we'll see. Let's take a look at some of the other games here. We've got Chris versus Sid. Chris won as I expected him to, but did so in a huge way, winning 4-0. From what he was saying, he managed to steal the ball a lot from Sid, which gutter runners help a lot, and gutter runner bullshit is really ridiculous. Not to mention the fact that Chris once again managed to roll a blitz event because, of course, it's Chris. Why would he not roll a blitz at least once in the game? In terms of SPP, 4 touchdowns, 1 casualty, a pass, and an MVP is 20 SPP, which is ridiculous and really good. Sid, for his trouble, 3 passes, 1 MVP, and a casualty is 10, literally half of what Chris got. Didn't have a chance to watch this game because it just happened not that long ago and it wasn't recorded anyway, but based on the description, it sounds like Chris pretty much took over the whole thing and just was able to keep everything in check. Skill ups that he got from last week, he got block on eye, which is what we all expected. He got +1 strength on disarm because Chris is really good at rolling really, really well. And he got doubles on this lineman and got guard here, which is a good choice, I think, in this league especially. And I'm never going to fault somebody for taking guard over mutation, and so how hitty this league is, especially because mutations aren't that great for linemen. I mean, claw would have been funny, I guess, but I think guard is the better way to go on a doubles roll. I just don't think there are better options for especially how this league is set up overall. So what did he get from this week? Only 1 level up, but it's not a gutter runner, so that's good. Space Boy's probably going to get block, although with Chris's luck, he'll get +1 strength too, because why not? Why not? This lineman is out, which isn't the end of the world. This team's got plenty of people at this point and will have its all 4 gutter runners, and is so cheap. Just so cheap. To put this in perspective, if he has everybody on his team, he's going to be at 1410. He'll have 20 less than me, and that's with a doubles roll, 2 +1 strengths, and 1 more player than I have. Pretty ridiculous. Up to 6 fan factor, which is pretty good as well. Yeah, great game for Chris. Anytime you can go 4-0 is a good game, essentially. Let's take a look. Oh, wait, I think I missed one thing on Chris's team. Let's go back in there. Okay, no. I wanted to say just the thrower is almost level 3. That'd be a good thing to happen, just so he can get accurate. Help increase his team's passing offense, because right now Chris really isn't utilizing that too much, and 14 isn't that hard to hit. Sid's half of the equation. 20k. Ugh. Not a good week for that. Sid desperately needs a ton of money and has just not been getting it. 3 weeks in a row, rolling under 50, rolling under 40 at that is really rough. Kind of balances out how well he did early on, but you kind of need some sort of sustain, especially because he's had so severe set of losses here. The Ogre will be back, which will be helpful. Had an Ogre Mercenary this game, it didn't seem to help too much, but having your actual Ogre is always good. 3 levels up, though, Really, really nice. Eber, I'm guessing, just has been throwing his way. Yeah, throwing. Block is probably the biggest thing to get here. Some people, I don't know, I guess you could make an argument for something else, like leader would be okay. More rerolls wouldn't hurt this team, but I think 3 rerolls is more than enough for anybody at this point. Block would help him substitute for not having a 4th blitzer, and it would just help keep things stable. I think that's a good call whatsoever. Wrestle might not be a bad choice as well to help deal with some of the block, but considering that he's going to have the ball for a little bit, probably want something to keep him on his feet, so block is probably the good call here. Emil Minard, hit level 3, as expected, would happen eventually here. Diving catch, probably a good call for Sid. It would help his just ridiculous offensive throwing that he loves to do. Other things to get would be sidestep, because sidestep blodge is really, really annoying and just super, super annoying to deal with. That's kind of what I'd expect to get. But diving catch seems more up his alley. This lineman, for Reject the Drinker, he got block, which is fine. I still think kick is something this team desperately needs. Kick is such an underrated skill in this league, except for me and Grey Duck, obviously. But I think kick is what you want in this lineman. Just put him in, towards the back, punt, and just put the ball where you want it to be. I think that'll be certainly very, very helpful. He could buy another lineman if he wants to, but he's got 11 players, so it should be fine. Save up money for the 4th blitzer, I think, is the better call at this point. Okay. It's going to be a great day for the Cyanide servers, I think. Let's get back in here. Other matchups for the week. We've got Lizards versus Chaos. Losing my train of thought all over the place here. Good week for Jessup here. Went 2-0, managed to kill a player, and ran 2 touchdowns in. Absolutely fantastic. 3 casualties, 2 touchdowns, and an MVP is 17, which is really nice. Andrew has a pass, which is awesome. Lose him at 8, which is not great for Andrew, but not too bad. Also, considering how unlucky he's been with SPP, we'll call 8 a minor victory. 60k for this team is nice, but not super necessary. Can you buy anybody new? I don't think so. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Levels up. The Source at level 2, which is exciting. Block is what I'm assuming is going to end up here. Ended up getting diving catch on this player. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. Might have been going for diving tackle. But who knows? He likes to throw at this team for some reason, so maybe diving catch was on purpose. I don't know. I don't like it, but hey, it's not my team. Tyrannosaurus Rex is at 15 SVP. I would not be surprised to see him hit level 4 by the time this league is over. Piling On is doing a ton of work. 5 casualties. Blah. So gross. Other than that, same things as I always say. Mostly needs to get these sources up. Considering that he's not going to spend his money on anything else, it might be advantageous to fire this Saurus and replace him with a new one just to help increase the chance that you get SPP on the player you want. I think that's definitely something worth considering. It wouldn't hurt whatsoever. Other than that, he kept this one, so who knows? It's his team, so we'll see. This skink is also almost level 3. Hopefully we'll get Sidestep after that, because Sidestep Diving Tackle, A+. Super good combo when you only have access to agility skills. And considering he likes to throw and now his diving catch, who knows, maybe that will work out for him. Like I said, 60k here, so let's take a look at the... I'm going to make it through this video, I promise. Hopefully the Cyanide servers aren't going to be super dumb. Let's take a look at how Andrew fared at the end of that. 2 levels up, which is great. Looks like this is a double MVP situation, and this is touchdown and 2 hits. Awesome. I'm assuming block is what he's going to get. I think block is definitely worthwhile. That said, depending on how flashy he's being, Mighty Blow is also worth considering. Mighty Blow, fantastic skill, and if you have Strength Excess, why not? But I think block is just the safer choice overall. Just like the Orc people, or the Black Orcs, you want block as soon as possible. I tell him every week to get extra arms, but he's probably going to get block. And considering that the dead player he got was the block piece, I think that's a pretty fair choice. Yeah. Yeah, block is probably what he's going to end up getting. He didn't buy his Minotaur, which I think is a mistake. And he's got just enough money for replacement Beastman and a Minotaur, which would give him 11 players for next week. I think that's worthwhile. He got 10k. Oh my god, Andrew's luck is like Sid's. Not that great for that, but he's still got levels up now. And like I said last week, this team is on the cusp of doing so much more damage than it does. So many players just one MVP away from a level up. Yeah, I think the Minotaur would have helped this game quite a bit. I think not getting it was a mistake, but hey, he can do it this week. And last game of the week was Mark versus Dwarves. Mark went to town on Orville, safe to say. Got 80k, which I forgot about, but this game was awesome to watch if you like seeing the Tomb Guardians pummel Dwarves into the dirt. 3 casualties, 1 death, 2 touchdowns in MVP. Mark controlled the crap out of this game, which is kind of what I expected. Khemri is just such a stronger team for punching out Dwarves, and considering how injured Orville was, let's see here. So 6, 6, 17 is a good number. Orville got 1 pass because he loves to throw, an MVP and 2 casualties, which is okay. So he did better than Andrew, actually. This is 10 SPP total. He has 2 deaths sustained because Orville's war with the dirt continues, and the dirt is winning. Layla is giving a mournful cry in sadness for Orville's team. And as she should. We'll look at who died in a little bit here. Mark, progressions. I think this Tomb Guardian had guard before. I don't remember, though. This Throw-Ra, I think, got both touchdowns. No, that's still Dean. So Hank got 2 touchdowns and MVP, it looks like. So Hank is now level 2 and his block. Awesome. Great. He really needs to get these Blitzers up to level 2, but I think he's trying to do that on his own as hard as he can. Beyond that, team's doing just fine. 4 rerolls, 80k in the bank. Just sits on this and buys players as he needs to replace them. Mighty Blow is doing work at this point, and we'll see what else he gets moving forward. Tomb Guardians need more skills, obviously. But hey, we can't all be Chris and get block and doubles and all that fun stuff, so whatever. Yeah, 13-10. God, everybody's cheaper than me by a long margin. Let's take a look at Orville's team. Blitzer died and his runner died. So his pass runner died and one of his blitzers died. I think this was his Mighty Blow blitzer. This one is guard, which is fine. No other progression here. He didn't get the death roller. He decided to get his 3rd reroll, which, if you were gonna save up for the 3rd reroll, I don't know. I think not. I talked about this a lot, but I think not starting with 3 rerolls and no apothecary is a huge mistake. Just not the way to go, and who knows? I think this team would have been a lot different had it started with 3 rerolls, because Orville's had reroll problems pretty much throughout the whole league, unfortunately. 40k, so yeah, just might as well try to buy a blitzer again. This team can get away with one runner to carry the ball. The blitzers are just so necessary. 5 movement allowance is huge, and this team needs to be as fast as it can be. This Troll Slayer got to level up, so I'm assuming he's going to get Mighty Blow as well. Tackle actually wouldn't be a bad choice as well, considering how much dodge he's going to start running into. That's what I would do. Mighty Blow or Tackle. I think Mighty Blow is fine, considering that you have Frenzy and you have Block. Mighty Blow. Absolutely fantastic skill to get. Beyond that, yeah. This team just needs SPP where I can get it. Got 10, so that's helpful, but I know some of that SPP was on players that died, so hopefully he'll be able to keep more of his players alive. Hopefully the dirt stops reaching up and strangling his players with its bare hands. So, hey. Yeah, Layla's still sad about it. That was the week. Pretty good week for predictions, I think. I think I got all these right. Stingray's angry about how well I got these right. No, maybe I called this wrong. I don't remember. Either way, pretty good week for predictions. We're now moving into the group stage, and the group stage is totally dependent on rankings. We are doing a split between, you can see it here, but first, fourth, fifth, and seventh, or first, fourth, fifth, and eighth are going to be in group 1, and then second, third, sixth, and seventh are in group 2. So these groups are pretty I'm going to say stratified, honestly. Both of them are very hard groups. I don't know. But this is sort of like the pile of force strength. This is going to be a hard set of matches for pretty much everybody. It's going to be especially hard for Sid. That said, Sid has the best scoring power of this entire group, excluding maybe Lizards. But in terms of raw ability to move the ball, untop matched is humans in this league. So Sid will basically play like a huge scoring team, which he loves to do, and I think that'll work out. So Sid definitely has a chance. The one nice part about the way the group stages work is these matchups don't really matter. Like I went undefeated in the regular stage, but that really doesn't matter, considering that I could not win or not get the top 2 in the group stage and won't make it onto the playoffs. So likewise, Orville and Andrew had terrible disasters pretty much throughout the whole league, but could easily tear it up in their groups and have enough to go to the playoffs and win everything. So I'm pretty excited for this. This is just basically SPP farming and positioning overall. Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty exciting. Group 1, though, is really, really a big mix of different things, and why Dauntless is kind of not that great of a choice here, because it really only gives me something to do against Mark. It's worthless against Dwarves because they don't have the Death Roller. It's worthless against Chris because he doesn't have the Rat Ogre. But that said, I think I can beat Chris's team regardless at this point. I'm just better at doing what both of us want to do, which is move the ball around. And Orville's team is in such terrible shape that I think I cannot lose this time. I mean, maybe he'll kill 2 of my players again. Who knows? But yeah, so big things to work. I mean, pretty much any of these matchups can be difficult for the teams. Orville's in such tattered shape. I don't know how well he's going to do. I think he has the hardest path to the playoffs overall. Same with Andrew. He just needs more levels up, to be sure. But we'll see what happens. This group, especially Group 1, has 2 high-scoring, high-agility teams versus 2 slow, extremely punchy teams. And they all kind of do it in different ways, with different methods and different players. So this is sort of our variety pack. This is the group of death, essentially. There's going to be a lot of standing around and pushing. There's going to be a lot of cages. There's going to be a lot of punching. And then Sid running around, throwing the ball. We'll see. Sid could tear it up really easily in this group. I'm excited to see what happens. We'll do a 1-round robin for each of these, and then top 2 will move on. So all these games are pretty important. Pretty much the first week, the second week, and the third week can all be really deterministic. Ties are a huge deal. Wins are a huge deal. There's only 3 games, so we'll see how it happens here. Let's take a look at next week, though. We're doing sort of a standard top to bottom middles fight sort of thing here. So week 1 of the group stage, week 8 overall, will be me versus Dwarfs. I said I think I can beat Orville's team, but one thing I want to mention here, aside from the fact that Dauntless does nothing, and I don't really have any other skills besides Fend that matter, is my team value. 1430 is what I'm working with, compared to the sad state of affairs in the Orzammar Blood Bowl Guild of 970. He'll be at 990 with this level up, which, yeah. So let's say that Orville does what I think he should do, which is buy his second Blitzer. That's under 80k. He'll be at 1070. 1070 to 430, 1430 is a lot of free money. It's 360 free dollars. He can get a mercenary death roller for that. I'm giving him so much money. Wizard probably not worthwhile getting. He could get more rerolls. He could get a death roller easy though. It's 180, and he'd still have I don't remember what I said for the total, but I think he'll have another 180 after that, because yeah, it'll be, if you buy, this is assuming again if he buys the Blitzer. So Blitzer is 80 plus another 20 here, so again 1070. So yeah, so he'd have another 180 because he's getting 360 total. So absolutely ridiculous amount of money. I don't know what's going to happen in this game, honestly. Last time we met, it went very poorly for me. I had 2 people murdered, and I managed to tie it 1-1. And I didn't feel in control of the game whatsoever because I had 2 people die on turn 1. I don't think anything can go quite as badly as it did that week. So we'll see. I'm going to give it to me for the win. Primary reason is, even though I'm giving him a ton of money, the reason I'm giving him a ton of money is I'm really difficult to deal with. Blodge and both these blitzers basically have no skill levels up for the purposes of this matchup because of how much tackle there is. But I do have wrestle on 2 players. I've got a fair amount of block here. Kick is something I didn't have. Or no, kick is something I did have. Kick is still a devastating skill, and Fend should help me stay alive a little bit. So I think I can do okay. As long as I don't have 2 people die on turn 1, I should be able to do okay, at least win the game. So I'll say I'm going to win this one. Let's look at the other match in the group 1 here, which is Kemry versus Skaven. Last time they met, Mark managed to lose 3-1. Part of that is Skaven ridiculousness, and part of that is how many skulls Mark rolled. That said, Mark didn't have as many skills as he does now, and he still doesn't have that many skills, but 2 Mighty Blow and Guard is a big deal. These 2 Tomb Guardians are going to be pretty much impossible for Chris to deal with, even with the 2 guard pieces that Chris has at this point. Let's look at monies here. 1310 for Mark, and where is Chris? Chris. 1360 for Chris, assuming normal roll here on the Gutter Runner, which, given how he's been rolling, is not necessarily a guarantee, but pretty unlikely he's going to break. Pretty unlikely he's going to break the 100k mark, even if he rolls the strength, which would be plus 50, be at 1390. Yeah, it's still 20 less than. Layla's upset on my math. 20 less than you'd need for 100k, so it'll be babes for Mark. Pretty unavoidable at that point. I think Chris can still pull this off. Gutter Runner bullshit is still very much a thing. It'll really be a question of how much damage Mark can do, who gets the ball, who doesn't, that sort of stuff. With the sheer amount of Mighty Blow Mark has now, 2, and the sheer fact that the Tomb Guardians are unstoppable beyond their own skulls, I just don't think that he can stop the Gutter Runner bullshit. We'll see. Kemry is really good at punching you to death, and this team is getting to the point where it can do that all the time. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to say that Chris wins this game, though. Group 2 time. We've got Orcs versus Chaos. This is going to be a pretty rough game from Andrew, gotta be said. 3 guard pieces makes this team really hard to deal with, and the fact that Great Up can match strength and then some thanks to the guard makes this a pretty hard matchup. I think Andrew desperately needs the Minotaur to help with this one. That's what I mean. Orcs can be challenged a lot by Chaos. Claw might get a workout finally. He's got 3 pieces with block now, which will definitely help, and having more flexible amounts of force strength is definitely going to help. If he has the Minotaur, that's 6 strength on a blitz, which is a lot to deal with, and frenzy, so we will see here. Maybe it's Andrew's ham time. We'll see. Normal skill rerolls plus the players I mentioned would increase his team value by 250, so that'd be 1230. And Greyduck has 1310, so we'd be getting a Babe out of that as well. Could be a pretty close game, actually. Wouldn't be surprised to see a tie here, honestly. Greyduck's been playing better overall, has had overall better luck, and I think Guard might be the ceiling point here. But we'll see. Andrew's been doing really great at dealing with slow KG teams, and this is what this would be. I think a tie is honestly the most likely outcome here. We've got, after that, Velociraptors versus the human team. Last time these people played, I think, yeah, Sid got beat pretty bad, 3-1, and this is a pretty recent game as well, so could be interesting. Let's talk team value here for a second. Assuming that nothing happens with the Saurus, 1280 will be the team value here, and then we're looking at for Sid here. 1190 plus 1, 2, 3, 1250. So no money one way or the other. I think Sid can definitely win this game. We'll see how well the Ogre does. We'll see how well the scoring does. We'll see how well Sid can do at dealing with the Gutter Runner idiots. Or not the Gutter Runner, the Skink idiots. That said, I just think the sheer amount of strength Jessup has is probably going to be a factor in in this game overall. I think it's pretty hard for him to lose overall. Layla is trying to eat my sweater. So I'll try to wrap this up here. I think Lizard's going to win this one. Yeah. Actually, I should mention one more thing here. I think I discounted how much money Orville's going to get. If he buys a Blitzer, he'll still be one player short, which will be this. So he'll only be getting 290 from me. That's still a fair amount of stuff. Layla really wants to eat my sweater. Still, that's a lot of money for Orville. So yes, quick recap of what's going to happen this week. I think I will win. I think Chris will win. I think that this will be a tie game, and I want to say that Lizards are going to win this one here. Moving forward, it'll be pretty interesting to see what happens. The group stage is where things get serious in terms of who will advance to the playoffs. Again, top 2 teams from each group will go on from there. Let's get a quick run through the Hall of Fame here. Most experienced players, not a lot of changes here. William moved up a little bit, but hard to compete with this 22 SPP Blitzer on the Dwarf team. Best scoring, this looks really inaccurate because I know Chris has a bunch of 3 here. Oh, there we go. Looks like they are in here. Thought I had more, but I guess that's how the tiebreakers go. Still the West with 4 players on this list. Hooray me! Yes, let's take a look at the team differential here. Okay, looks like me still with 3, so winning those 2 charts. Most throwing, Chris isn't throwing actually nearly as much as I thought he would, so I don't know what to say here. And Sizz mostly throwing with the same guy over and over again. Somehow I've thrown more than him, which seems crazy. I thought I'd have less throws with Jimbo, but what do I know? Interceptions, no new interceptions here. Stupid truck release. Most violent player, still the Dwarves here. Croc score doing work here, and overall, still Orcs have the most overall punching. I think in sheer number of casualties, who's ahead? He's got 8 on this team. Okay, looks like Orcs are doing the most damage overall here. Best running, Dean is still tearing it up here. I hope Dean holds at the top, because if there's anyone that should have most yards run, it's the slow-ass Throw-Ra. Best throwing in terms of overall yardage is me for some reason, only by one square though, so not too forced from there. Survivors always means nothing. We're not long enough to do anything. Killing, got more people on here. Good job, Mark. 2 people. And the Croc score. So Dwarves getting shoved down there, which is fine by me. I'd like my murdered players to be remembered, not on this chart. And best receiver is Evel Mine. Not too surprising considering that he is Sid's super receiver, and then a bunch of players for me. And again, Chris is just not throwing as much as I thought he would. So what can we do? Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Long video, but a lot to talk about. After this week, we'll have a lot more to talk about in terms of who has the best chance of getting to the playoffs, not whatever. This league is getting pretty exciting. Season 5 will be in the works, or Season 4, I should say, is in the works after this. But hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.